In Arizona, when we usually find dry woods, it's usually limited to a small area, normally. And a lot of times we can spot treat those areas, or sometimes we can just, like a patio post, we can just remove the lumber and put in a new one. And we take the termites with us, and no, we don't take them to your neighbor's house. We get rid of them.
Hi, I'm Kenny Klaus, and this is State 48 Homeowner.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the State 48 Homeowner Podcast. If your house doesn't have termites already, it will. Welcome to Arizona. Let's talk about termites with Dave from Burns Pest Elimination. Welcome, Dave.
Hey, Scott, thanks for having me in again.
So let's talk about termites. It's a rule in Arizona. All the houses either have had them or will have them. It's a given. It's just common.
Yep, very. And that's the thing. We really shouldn't get all that excited when it happens. Yeah. I know we do, because we think of the cartoon days. Termites come in and house falls down. Doesn't quite happen that fast. What we need to do is we need to make sure we keep our eye open for signs of termites. So the little mud tubes, those are one of the most common signs we see up our exterior stem wall or foundation, maybe coming out of a wall or out of our ceiling. Those are some of the most common signs of subterranean termites.
Yep.
We do have another species here too that we're seeing more and more of, is the drywood termite. Very common in California. You drive down the 5 freeway in California and you see circus tents over houses all the time.
Yeah.
That's treating for drywood termites. That's a fumigant that they
put
in
and I think that's one of the things that we want to talk about and help people understand what treating termites is. So my parents live in California. They just went through that. They lived in they have a travel trailer. And so they got to live in the travel trailer for a few days while their house was tented.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people, when they hear, oh, we're going to have to treat for termites, they're thinking that that's what treating for termites is.
Not normally in Arizona. Again,
sometimes
we're seeing more of it, but it's pretty small, the number of times we find drywood termites. And then in Arizona, unlike California, where you have a much moister climate and a drastically different climate, in Arizona, when we usually find drywoods, it's usually limited to a small area, normally. And a lot of times we can spot treat those areas, or sometimes we can just, like a patio post, we can just remove the lumber and put in a new one. And we take the termites with us, and no, we don't take them to your neighbor's house. We get rid of them. We get rid of them and put them back into the dump, and they just go back and do their little termite thing. So we do see drywood termites once in a while, but by far the biggest problem we have is with subterranean termites.
So I think some misconceptions people have is that it's only in wood homes. But we see, slump block homes also have termites.
Every home has some wood in it. Doesn't matter what the exterior and construction is. Well, drywall. Yeah. So drywall is nothing more than paper and gypsum. Paper holds the gypsum together. Paper is a wood byproduct. Yeah. So termites will eat paper on sheetrock as much as they will eat a 2x4 that's holding up a wall.
Yeah, and often that's where we'll actually see some of the first signs of termites is a tube dropping from the ceiling.
Yeah, the ceiling, or
where there's not even joists. It's
or popping out of a wall.
Yeah,
so
where it's just only the drywall is what they're eating.
Hey everyone, this is Kenny Klaus with Klaus Team Real Estate Solutions. We know there's a lot of confusion in today's market, whether it's billboards, TV, radio, mail. Everyone's trying to get your attention. They offer one lane, where at the Klaus Team we have over 20 different programs. We can help you navigate through to find out what's best for you. And remember, we work for you, they work for themselves. We're here to represent you and make sure you have the best experience possible.
Visit us at klausteam.com/call us first.
So what's happening there, Scott, is the termites, they live in the ground. They are subterranean. So the colony lives in the ground. And there are there are hundreds of colonies per acre of land. It's not like there's this little group. They are all over. And what they do is they randomly poke through the soil to try to find wood, food. Mm-hmm. Remember, they're part of our ecosystem. We actually need them to keep our ecosystem in check. Think about a saguaro cactus, 45-foot tall saguaro cactus. It's 200 years old, and now it's done. It's finished its life, and what happens? A windstorm comes and
falls.
Boom, it lays on the ground. Well, if we didn't have termites, that wood of that cactus would still be there 200 years later. Termites take that and eat it up, digest it, and turn it back into a usable byproduct of the soil. So they have a purpose in life. We just built a house on top of where that saguaro is supposed to be. Now, what did we do with our house? Well, we created a thermal shelter or shadowing, so the termites see that as cooling. Cooling means what? Water. Yeah. Water is life for all things. So they naturally will migrate towards that and check it out. Well, as they come up through the soil, either over the concrete or behind the concrete, they just are randomly checking things out, and they get into a wall. Then inside that wall, they're eating the paper and things on the sheetrock. We see them. Well, the food that they eat, they all take back to the soil, and they back into their colonies through the soil, and they will feed it to the rest of the colony. And, that's how life moves on. And inside the colony are termites that are having new termites. We're laying eggs, we're breeding, we're developing additions to the colony. And so it grows. And so our house becomes even more susceptible as those colonies get bigger. So having the awareness of looking, and if you haven't seen it before and you don't know what those signs are, you know what? Pick up the phone, call us. We'll send somebody out. We'll look it over for you, and we'll tell you if you have a problem or don't have a problem. And if you don't, cool. We'll tell you how to best protect yourself moving forward. If you do have a problem, we'll figure out how to take care of it for you.
And we call them tubes because they
look like a tube.
Looks like a tube, and they're brown.
If you break it open and look closely, it will be hollow inside, and that's how the termites travel. They travel in this protected area, this tube, and it goes all the way back down into the ground. And if you ever find termites and you open it up, you'll find all kinds of tubes in there. There'll be lots and lots of tubes where the colony's moving up and down, feeding on paper or wood or some kind of wood byproduct.
Yeah. So if we see it outside and we see it on the stem wall, that one's usually a little bit bigger.
Yes.
And we'll see it out there, and it might look a little bit more like tree roots is a little bit spread out.
Yeah, it'll be bigger because it usually is a kind of a major pipeline of how they're getting in the house, and from there it branches out. Yeah. So a lot of times that one on the exterior of the home can be a little bit bigger. Scott, a lot of times we find signs of termites in things right around the house, adjacent to the house, like posts or wood that might be on the ground near the home. Sometimes after homes are built, form boards or things like that stakes might be left in the ground. We'll find termite activity in those because they're not protected and they're easily accessible in the ground. Those are really common signs.
And those are generally not treated lumber either.
No. It's just
cheap stuff,
easy eating pine.
Yeah. And if we see stuff coming out of the ceiling, those are generally really small.
Yep.
About like the lead of the pencil width.
Yep.
That are just hanging out, and people. We see it a lot on Facebook in the neighborhood groups.
What is this?
Everybody's like, "Oh, that's termite." No. Yeah, it is.
It is. It is, and it's a very common thing. Most houses have either had it or they will have it. Nothing is. There are no construction means or features or pesticides that are 100% effective against all termite attacks. So there's a good chance that that's going to happen. Best thing to do is understand what the signs are. Have your home checked by a professional on a regular basis, every year or so. Or if you're using like Burns for pest control, we cross-train all of our employees. So as they go through your house, they're keeping that extra little eye out for you.
So let's talk about when people are buying a house, what does that termite inspection look like and what does it do?
So in a lot of cases, when you buy a home, you can ask for, or there will be some kind of a termite inspection that's done and supplied to you at some point during the process. In that is a report from a licensed pest control company that says, hey, we looked at your house. So we've gone through and we've checked all the vulnerable areas, the places that we normally see those types of signs around the perimeter of the rooms, in the baseboards, the walls, the ceilings.
And generally, if they can get to it, a lot of times the cellar stuff is there. They can't move the cellar stuff.
That's always a problem. Is those obstructions that stop us from being able to get into an area,
inside and outside.
Inside and outside. Yeah. And so then we get into the attic and we check the attic joist. But remember, we're up in the attic, and what's the whole base layer of the attic? It's insulation. We can't remove all that insulation and see. So we try to focus on the areas that we know cause areas of concern. So areas where termites come in. Around plumbing. So think about your home. It has a plumbing line that comes through, either a copper line or a plastic sewer line. What comes through that concrete? So you have a concrete floor. That pipe comes through that. Well, around that, we have expansion and contraction. So that area allows termites to also enter your home right in there.
It's a space,
And so, like the head of your tub, where your drains are, those are common areas that we would typically find termites. So we would pay close attention to those areas where plumbing is. Around the kitchen, where your kitchen sink and your drains are, dishwashers, laundry rooms. Those are all really common areas because we have these plumbing protrusions that come through the concrete, which create access points for termites.
And then how often should people be doing checks?
I usually recommend that you have your house looked at, or make sure you're looking at it, having somebody look at it once a year.
Yep.
Just get ahead of the game. It doesn't, companies like us, we don't charge to come out and look at a home to see if it has termites. If you're part of our pest control protection packages, we include that in the service every time we come out. We're looking at those areas for your benefit. And
termite treatment is not a normal thing as far as the normal pest control?
No, termite treatment is a lot different. So being subterranean, the termites sit in the ground in large colonies. So what we have to do is we have to find all the entrance points of the home. That's cracks in the slab. That's expansion joints, planned expansion joints in the slab. Cold joints where two pieces of concrete butt up, maybe a sunken living room and a raised foyer. Those are all susceptible areas. So we have to actually go into those areas, drill holes through the concrete, and inject that material down into the soil where the termites would be coming up through. When we create a barrier in which the termites can't enter the home.
Okay.
Then we do the same thing around the exterior of the home. We dig a trench around the perimeter of the home at the stem wall or the footing, and we put chemical up against that foundation, and then we bury it back up. So as those termites would try to burrow through the ground and eventually work their way up that stem wall, this material stops that and prohibits them from being able to enter your home.
Okay. If somebody is seeing some signs in their home, some tubes, some some little things and they want a second opinion or they want to get it treated, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, don't ignore it. It's not something to put off till next week.
It's not going away.
No, it's not.
They're not getting full. They're not going to go to the neighbor's house.
Yeah, no. The best thing to do is just call us. 602-971-4782 is our main office in Phoenix. We can have a customer service rep schedule an inspection, and somebody will come out and look at that for you. And then we will build the appropriate treatment solution for your home. What's that look like? Specifically, are we dealing with subterranean termites or the drywood termite situation? We build that. Another thing, for a resource as well, go to our website, BurnsPestElimination.com. You can see photos of what termites look like, what the tubes look like, what the treatment looks like. We've got all that on there, and our customer service people will be happy to help you find a solution for your home.
Thanks so much, Dave.
Hey, Scott, thanks for having me.
Thanks for spending time with us this week at State 48 Homeowner, the ins and outs of owning an Arizona home. You can connect with us for more information, submit topics you'd like us to further discuss. You can see relevant videos, give us feedback, answer your real estate questions, and more at state48homeowner.com.